I say it's referring to one of the final signs of the hour is a very violent earthquake that will happen on the earth. However, many other ulama, and this seems to be the stronger opinion, mentioned that this is referring to the state of the people on the day of judgment. It is said in Arabic, "Zulzilu zilzalan shadidan," that the people were in such a state of fear and a state of shock and a state of horror that they were shaken from the inside as if an earthquake had taken place inside of them. The word used, zalzala, is the same used as an earthquake. And so that zalzala that will happen within the hearts of the people, that fear they will be feeling, that realization that all the deeds that they did in this world, all those years they lived in heedlessness, all those sins they committed, they will now be held accountable for every single one of them. And that regret, realizing that they will never be able to go back and to make amends and to fix their situation and to do good deeds. That will be the fear on that day. We've all may have felt regret or fear or trepidation in this life, but the fear and trepidation on that day is something that cannot be paralleled. And so right from the beginning, the first ayah, Allah Ta'ala paints this picture for us and mentions that that day is something very, very grave, and we should fear that day, and we should fear Allah Ta'ala. And while it's not too late, we should prepare for that day. For those who prepare for that day will be much easier. For those who are not prepared, then it will be as this ayah and the next ayah describe. What does the next ayah say? Allah Ta'ala says right after this, يَوْمَ تَرَوْنَهَا, on the day that you will see that the hour coming to pass, تَذْهَلُ كُلُّ مُرْضِعَةٍ عَمَّا أَرْضَعَتْ. Every woman who was breastfeeding a child, she will completely forget about that child. She will just fling them away. She won't even care about them because of the fear of her own situation. What will happen to me? And we know in other ayat, Allah Ta'ala mentions that a person will run away from even the closest person to them. يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ. A person will run away from their own brother. وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ. Their own mother and father. وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ. And their own wife and their own children, the people who you feel that you have to protect no matter what. These people also, you will forget about them because you will be so worried about your own self. And so the breastfeeding mother will leave her child and forget about her. وَتَضَعُ كُلُّ ذَاتِ حَمْلٍ حَمْلَهَا. And all the pregnant women, they will be raised as pregnant women, and they will actually have a miscarriage and leave their fetuses right over there. That is the level of fear that will be on that day. وَتَرَى النَّاسَ سُكَارًا. And you will see people as if they are drunk. وَمَا هُمْ بِسُكَارًا. But in reality, they are not drunk. وَلَكِنَّ عَذَابَ اللَّهِ شَدِيدٌ. However, the punishment of Allah Ta'ala is so severe on that day, and that fear will cause them to act as if they're drunk, as if they're not in their right minds. That is a very brief painting, but a very powerful painting of the picture of how it will be on the day of judgment, right? And this is, of course, for general people. However, for those who will have made effort in this life, those who have feared the hereafter now, those who don't care about the hereafter, they think it's not a big deal, they don't think it's something that will happen, on the day of judgment, they will really fear. However, those who fear that day now, Allah Ta'ala will grant them safety. As ulama mentioned, that Allah is more merciful than to gather two fears upon one believer. If he fears Allah in this life, He will grant him safety and happiness and take away that fear in the hereafter. But if he doesn't have fear in this life, then he will definitely have that fear in the hereafter. So we should ask ourselves, would we rather be people who fear the hereafter, the fear of day of judgment now, and that will cause us to do good deeds in this life, and then relax for the rest of eternity while everyone else is in that state of fear? As our hadith mentioned, we are sitting, لا خوف عليهم, no fear upon them, ولا هم يحزنون, nor do they have any sorrow or grief or sadness. Rather, they're happy, they're in the shade of Allah Ta'ala's throne, they're enjoying, and they're not in fear because they have the signs from Allah Ta'ala that inshallah everything will be okay, that they will be of the people of Jannah. Would we not rather be in that situation? Would we not rather make a small amount of effort in this life, go through some difficulties in this life? As the hadith mentions, الدنيا سجن المؤمن وجنة الكافر. The dunya is a prison for a believer and the Jannah of the disbeliever. They will enjoy in this life. For us, this life is not a place of enjoyment. This life is a place of preparing for that day and what comes after that day. May Allah Ta'ala grant every single one of us the tawfiq to remember this day and keep it in front of our eyes and not allow it to be like something that will never happen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Sorry, I want to make one announcement I forgot to mention on behalf of the management, that we are finding vapes in different places in the masjid, especially places which indicate that there are people, maybe youngsters, who are vaping upstairs on the roof, and so there will be severe consequences if they are caught. make sure, especially those of us who are bringing our children or our youth, even those who are teens, make sure that they're with you, know where they are. Don't allow them to wander everywhere. Of course, this is not something we're supposed to be doing, and doing it in the masjid, of course, this is even worse.